Good morning, everybody, and this is your S&P 500 setups for today. So Google or Alphabet earnings out yesterday, but tech stocks were hammered going into the close. So what that's done is to create a flag, and I won't say that flag is confirmed yet. I think there's a fairly strong level of support just below us that would need to break and be retested for this flag to actually play out. But it is looking quite juicy because the measured move for this to the downside would be a revisit of 5400. And if we just go to a daily, you'll see there is some resistance just above that level. I'll give them to you now, but the main area is going to be down in this zone. And that's quite a big fall though, so don't hold your breath over that, but that would be 53.30. What it does look like is if this flag plays out, you're looking for 54.50, 54.16, 5400 as the target area. Remember, V reversals are rare, and at the moment this is a V reversal. So trend is still up, still massive diversions. Oscillators are pointing to the downside on the daily here, are starting to separate. And when we look at the levels, the time frames that we look at, we've had a crossover, and it's kind of neither here or there at the moment. So I would just pay attention to that. There is a possibility, but I don't think I'd want to be playing it. Not just yet, not until there's confirmation. So if you look at that, the one argument would be we got a gap down yesterday with the tech results that were coming out, and what did we get here? I think it was 0.5%, so 0.5% down. But yeah, Tesla was hit quite hard as well with their, wasn't really their earnings, but their forecast going into the next quarter. So as far as I'm concerned, we could be lining up for something, or we are now concerned about tech and basically waiting for the next lot of results to come out before we start making a move. So nothing really confirmed on the 3-hour or the 8-hour just yet. The only thing that we do have here is that we are below the moving averages. I'm just putting the levels in. You can see there's a pin bar here, which is something we need to pay attention to. We've got a level of potential resistance here. So that's 55.45, and then you have 55.50. So let's just get down to levels we want to be watching for today. Okay, so yesterday we had setups that were looking like an opportunity for a move to the upside. We had an inverse head and shoulders, lots of structure here that was looking for a move to the upside. And then we got this period during the US Open of confusion, and you can see big up, big down, big up, big down, big up, big down, and so we continued going into the close. Now, I don't think there's diversions here. No diversions yet. So that would be from this swing low here on the 19th of July to where we currently are. So crossover the moving averages, still below the 150 EMA, essentially. So we could argue that the trend is still to the downside, and that this is the flag, and we're looking for a move down. Now, I'm not entirely convinced I want to play that. And the reason for that is you can see how we gap below 55.45, but look at this, we did get a bar close above it, got 2 bar close above it on the 15-minute this morning. So me personally, I would be waiting for a better rejection, and that would be either 55.50 or 55.56. Those are the 2 areas that I'd be paying attention to for a rejection. Now, one thing to note is with the earnings coming out. For example, Tesla's down 10% at the moment, and those stocks are not going to go to the floor. So it's a case of there being a little bit of a reset for people to find cheaper prices to buy in. I, for one, am looking at buying in on my long-term portfolios into a couple of the stocks that have been hit. So we're looking, analyzing those charts, seeing where would be the best area to buy, look for the major level of support, and just start buying in to beef up my long-term portfolio. So that's what a lot of people are going to be doing. For me, on this today, it's more of a case of wait and see. And you can see the big up and down. There's also a very clear head and shoulders here, as you can see. There's left shoulder, double head, right shoulder, or you could call this left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It doesn't really matter. It still works out the same. And it is a move of 271 points. And you can see 275 points is what we hit as a gap down yesterday. And there was your break. And there was a weird attempt at a retest, but nevertheless, that was something that's in play, or was in play yesterday, and it played out quite nicely. So I suspect you're probably going to be hunting for a new level, and there is a big gap to the downside here. So short scalps it is. I just want a better rejection. So this would be a much better rejection for me, 55.50. If we can reject that area, then I'd definitely be looking for a short and looking for a move down to 55.26. It's not something to hold, so don't just go short and hold, because next set of results come out today, which could just upset the apple cart in the opposite direction. So be very cautious about what's going on. Longs at the moment are really only going to come in once we either break through the highs of yesterday, or we find a fairly decent base at 5500 or 55.26, somewhere around here. Even closing that gap would set up a double bottom, and what you need to do is go to the weekly, and you'll realize that that's the only level of support that you've got is at 55.26, 5500. And if you look at this on the weekly, this week has not really been going anywhere just yet. So yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical about jumping in short. There could be some short scalps. This could play out, and if it does play out, I mean, we've got a much bigger target down at 54.50, but you're going to have to get through this consolidation zone here, which we're coming up to test again. So I'm more of the opinion that we're going to come onto the consolidation zone here at 55.26, 5500, close that gap that's open. There is a weekly gap that's open here as well, and close that gap, and then probably form some form of a double bottom, start moving to the upside. But then we need to wait for the break above the high of the week before we confirm longs to the upside. So going to be a case of wait and see, I'm afraid. Don't think there's opportunities just to jump in at the moment, but 55.50 would definitely be a short scalp for me, and stops would be, you go for a 100-point stop loss, but you should get a 200-point gain. So it should be a 2-to-1 risk to reward, or 1-to-2 risk to reward. Anyway, hope that helps, and we'll catch up with you. We won't catch up with you tomorrow. We'll catch up with you the day after. Anyway, hope it helps. Cheers for now.